Hello, everyone, and let's begin with another very important session for APM. And I'm sure this session will be a game changer for the students of APM. And I'm very much sure that you will learn a lot from this session. Do watch this session completely and using my all rich 17 years of experience and plus I'm blessed to say that 25 more than 25 uh, nationwide students were my students who took sessions from me and secured 25 plus nationwide position in this one paper of advanced performance management. So I'll be using all my experience of these 17 years to uh, explain, to tell you what examiner expect from you people, what are the observations, and looking at the marking style of the examiner, how you can grab the marks, things you should be doing, things you should avoid, and how you have to draft the answers as well. So you can see right now in front of your screen the read the markers mind document relating to an specimen exam, question number 2. Okay, here it is. Specimen exam question number 2 is in front of you, and we'll be using this first to understand some important things. A lot of things will be clear, will get clear to you, and I'll try my best that somehow today I make you a marker as well. And if you are able to become a marker, so I'm sure you'll understand actually that what to write, what not to write, and also refer this video to your students, of your friends, colleagues who are appearing in APM, so that everybody can take maximum advantage from that. Okay. Now, the question that we are using here of ACCA specimen exam, this is question number 2 of your ACCA specimen exam. Uh, you might have done this question before. The point here is it's not about solving the question. We are not solving the question right now. Okay, we are actually understanding a good script is what or a bad script is what. Okay, how will you get passing marks? What are the things based on that you will get the marks? What are the things where you will not get the marks? Okay, so for that, even if you have done the question before, just to recall things, I will give you a basic recap of the question. So now the testing platform is in front of you. I'm sure you can see the testing platform. I will not read all the things here, but yes, I will be definitely using the information and will be guiding you what needs to be done. So I'll be opening, if required, I'll be using the answer, official answer. I might be using the examiner report and also the read the markers mind document, which is the most important thing. Okay, so guys, let's begin. Now this question is in relation to a company. I'll just skim through important things. It's a clothing manufacturing company, and the key thing here is that this company C basically manufactures the dresses for a customer known as E. Okay, E basically is a retailer, and now E basically is thinking of moving towards a just-in-time inventory system, JIT system. Okay, so E wants to move towards JIT, right? Okay, now for that, the chief executive officer uh, has given us some task. For that, they have given us current purchasing policy, details of that. So this included certain points like the company C, because C is what who wants to be actually thinking of using the just-in-time system, because C is the one who delivers goods to company E, and company E is thinking of JIT. So if E requires C to use JIT, so definitely C has to make very important necessary changes. Okay. Now, the current purchasing policy of company C says that there are 4 suppliers the company is using right now. These suppliers operate differently in terms of procedures and processes. Okay. The company has been agreeable to this as the quality of the raw material supplied has been generally acceptable. Okay. Now, more recently, the company has found a reason to question the accuracy and the quality of the raw material delivered from one supplier. So this is one problem we can see here. Additionally, another supplier now only dispatches material in full load quantities. Okay, I'll be a bit fast just to give you the basic points in front of you. So you can see in the current purchasing policy, there are 4 suppliers that they are using different practices. One supplier is having some quality issue, and the other supplier who only wants to deliver in full load quantities. Now, the current production methods, the performance metric that is used at company C is for production efficiency is the number of dresses produced per period. So they measure efficiency according to this criteria. The individual dresses are produced in long production runs. So one dress they produce in long production runs in order to maximize the output. Okay. Staff working in production department get their bonus on the basis of number of units. The more units you produce, you get the bonus based on that. So the bonus criteria is actually dependent on the dresses produced. Okay. The company has a practice of testing goods at the final stage of the production. Okay. Goods which have not been produced to the required standard have traditionally been rejected at the end of the production process. Okay. So the testing is done at the end, and things which are not okay, goods which are not okay, they are rejected at the end of the process because you do testing at the final stage. The production control manager has indicated that to you that current production methods are successful and only 5% is the goods returned from the customer E due to poor quality. There is just 5% return from our customers. Okay, fine. Done. Now, the requirement relates to 2 things. One, the introduction of JIT for 13 marks, and B, the cost of quality changes for 7 marks. Okay, cost of quality changes for 7 marks. Now, please be with me, everyone. 5 marks are for the professional side. And today, what I'll tell you about these professional marks is a secret, literally. And this secret, once I'll reveal, you will get the idea, oh, this is how we can grab professional marks. So what is the scope of the professional marks? When it says analysis evaluation, so what is the key thing you do, you get these marks? What skepticism requires and how much importance skepticism has in APM, okay? And commercial acumen, how to grab marks under commercial acumen easily, okay? So I'll be discussing all these things. 5 mark relates to these, 13 mark for the first part, 7 mark for the second part. This is the third and the last important exhibit. Just in time is what they want to implement. So you can see E is the customer who like to move towards JIT of purchasing its goods from company C. Okay. As a result, C has to make changes in its current working practices. Done. Mr. CEO has asked you as a management consultant to assess the changes. Now, the requirement is very important. You will realize, I always say requirements are very important. I always say verbs and objects are really important. But honestly speaking, these requirement has a direct connection. Listen what I'm saying here. Has a direct connection with the professional marks. And to be very precise, one professional skill one professional skill. I want you guys to make notes, because whatever I'm telling you today, you might not be able to remember later on if you just listen. A good summary, if you make notes, all important points, if you jot down on some piece of a paper, will be a very massive resource. And I would say knowledge based things is on one side, just keep those at one side, but how to pass the paper is something else. Okay, so this is what we'll be focusing today. So I will not hesitate at all to say this, because I'm targeting section B right now, so my focus is on section B question. Okay, I'll not at all hesitate to say this, that your verb and objects are directly connected to one of the skill of professional, and that is analysis and evaluation. It has a direct connection. I'm not saying the others will not have any connection, no, but the closeness between these two is massively. And this is not what I am saying, this is what is the behavior of the examiner, this is what is the behavior of the marker. So if you want to grab professional marks, and I'll give you a shocking statement right now. If you want to grab professional marks under analysis and evaluation, you have to read the verb and objects twice, if needed thrice. And the shocking statement that I'm giving here is, how many marks there are for professional side? 5. There is no defined rule that how many marks for analysis evaluation, how many marks for skepticism, how many marks for commercial acumen. Analysis evaluation professional marks can even go to 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5. This is how much importance the examiner has placed on analysis and evaluation, because that's the core work of a consultant. Okay, so in order to grab complete marks of analysis evaluation, my friends, my consultants, listen, read the verb object twice, even thrice, and understand it properly, that how will I fulfill the need. Now I'm using a sentence here. How will I fulfill the need of the requirement? The word need is extremely important here. Need of the requirement. If you fulfill the need of the requirement, you can grab cash marks under analysis and evaluation. Happily, examiner will give you marks for that. Okay, so let's highlight this. Assess the changes which company will have to make in the areas of purchasing and production in order to supply goods to E on a GIT basis. And you are lucky if you've done this question before. So today you will actually understand, oh, this is something very valuable. If you have done this question before, I would say you are in a very good position to further understand what I'll be explaining you. Verb is assess. In assessment, we have to analyze things. We have to do a detailed analyzation in relation to the changes the business C needs to make in area of purchasing and production. So the verb is assess, the object is changes. The key word in the object element is changes. And I always say that once you have identified the object, deliberate use of that keyword changes. Deliberate use of that keyword automatically will ensure your answer goes in the right path. Okay. So changes, there are 2 areas to focus on. Changes in relation to purchasing and production. A well-written answer, a well-structured answer will focus on purchasing separately, production separately. The best thing is to use these headings. You will get marks under analysis and evaluation only for, I'm not saying complete marks, but you will get few marks for analysis evaluation, only just ensuring that your answer is in this logical manner. Okay, because it will ensure, it's not about presentation. No, this is what I'm not explaining here. What my point is that you cover the entire object in a systematic way. If you focus on purchasing separately, if you focus on production separately, this means you are fulfilling all what is required by the exam. And this is what I say as need of the requirement. Okay, done. So clear. Next, the company CEO also made available to you cost of quality report in Appendix 1, which she believes addresses relevant cost of quality. This report is given in Appendix 1. Okay. She would like you to discuss is the verb. Discuss is the verb. Potential quality cost changes again in light of the proposed move to JIT. She indicated that some of these costs have never been measured before and have been given financial values to help you in your discussion. Okay, she also told you that company's current revenue is 4.5 million. Okay, done. Now the second requirement and the verb is discuss. What to discuss? Changes, but this time related to quality cost changes. Okay, for structuring this answer, well, you have a big hint given, and that is to use Appendix 1. So Appendix 1 here will be used to structure this part of the answer. Okay, Appendix 1. Done. Appendix 1, I'll quickly open Appendix 1, will give me a quick idea in relation to what quality cost things have been mentioned here. So I can see a cost of quality report. Conformance cost relates to prevention appraisal. Non-conformance cost relates to internal and external failure. Now the question is, how important is using this appendix for your answer? Very important, because they have explicitly mentioned about Appendix 1. Now you have no chance, you have no option to ignore it. Any ignorance done means you will lose marks. Where? Technical side is what you will lose marks. You will also lose marks under the heading of professional skills. And I'll tell you that which professional skill will be disturbed by not using this properly. Which professional skill? Okay, done. The question, we have gone through the question. I'll take you now to the answer script. To the answer script. Okay. Okay. Here is the answer script. Now, deliberately, I'm showing you the official answer first, because you have to gauge the number of points that are written in the official answer. What is expected from you in the examination? First of all, just throw this out of your mind, that you will only pass. Today, whatever I'm saying is completely new. I've never said these things before. Okay. Just throw this out of your mind, that you will only pass if you replicate the past paper answer. Never possible. My friends, you are at a liberty, you have the flexibility and so much room available to pass APM. that you will realize today what we think of APM and what we need to do to pass APM. It is not difficult. Literally, I'll show you it is not difficult if you have the right approach. Remember, an official answer is first of all very detailed one. Never think of matching. And I am saying this one thing. I'm saying this one thing very openly. Just understand what is the reason behind that. Past paper answers will make you confused. Now you'll be like, what is happening? Yes, past paper answers will make you confused because the quantum is too much. The quantum is too much. Number one, the quantum is too much. Number two, the direction the examiner has taken might not be the same direction that you take while you are answering it. But this doesn't mean that you will fail. No, you have to fulfill, once again, the need of the requirement. If you fulfill the need of the requirement, you will pass. See, if I want to go to Thailand, no, I don't think I'll go to Thailand. If I want to go to Malaysia, for example, okay? If I want to go to Malaysia, so if I live in UAE, so the route to go to Malaysia will be different. Yes. And if you live in UK, if you live in Pakistan, if other person lives in India, will everybody follow the same route to come to Malaysia? Yes or no? I need your response in the comment section. No. The route will be different, but the destination is same. The destination is same. This means if you fulfill the need of the requirement by taking different routes, doesn't matter. So past papers are good to read, but only if you don't get confused from those. Only if you don't underestimate yourself from those. And the best thing to keep in mind that extra material is written more than the marking scheme. If a question is of 10 marks, I'll tell you how many things to write. But the official answer might have written much more than that, which you cannot replicate in the examination. Never possible. Okay. Second point, the direction that the examiner has used in the official answer might not be same as you took it. But if both somehow are coming to the same need of the requirement, both will get the marks. So throw this out of your mind today that my answer is very much different to the examiner every time. I'm writing too less and I don't know where I'm doing wrong. There is no one right answer. The approach should be right. And as I say, need of the requirement is what you have to fulfill. Who will tell you? Verb and objects. And yes, your schooling will also help you. And why I'm saying this is the type of English understanding you have. If you understand English well, then obviously you will understand what is the meaning of the verb and the object. Okay? Now, I will make a summary at the end, but again, I'm saying here, I'll focus on easy marks. The script that we might read today might not have focused on easy marks. But I think that why not focus on easy marks if it makes your passing easy? Okay. So if you start this answer with a definition, sort of a brief introduction, I should say, a brief introduction of JIT, you can grab one easy mark. Okay, one easy mark was available, right? But brief, but brief. Okay. The heading that you have used is ensuring that you are covering the objects well. You are covering the objects well. Please focus what I'm saying. This will ensure you get marks for analysis and evaluation. Again, I'm not saying of the presentation part. Truly speaking, I'm not very much focused on presentation part. My point is, are we covering everything properly or not? That is what my point is. So a good heading supports that. Okay. Now, I'll just pick up the few points because a lot of things is written here. How examiner presented the answer, which might not be the ultimate answer. So the company C, point number 1 is written in relation to the strong relationship with the supplier, as they are using 4 suppliers here. Okay. So this entire paragraph emphasized that good relationship is important and we need to have good discussion with the suppliers. Fundamental changes are needed. We need to explain suppliers that, okay, we need reliable services and quality is very important. And out of the 4, we need to select 1 or 2 with whom we think we can have a strong relationship and things like that. Okay. So this entire paragraph emphasized on maintaining good relationship. There are 4 suppliers right now the company is dealing. Yes, yes, yes. Using the current situation in answering is very important. You get marks when you use current situation in your answer. In fact, I can say this very openly. You get 1 mark if you refer to the scenario and mention, okay, this is what is happening in the company right now, and using JIT, because what was the object? Changes needed. So this is happening right now, and using JIT, this will change. This has to be changed. So what examiner did here, please listen to me. Okay, what examiner did here, see, examiner did use this, did use this 4 suppliers as a basis for writing this point. Okay, well linked, very good. Okay, number 2. Okay, number 2, the next paragraph, this one. Now this is huge, man. How can you replicate the same thing in the paper? You cannot. Okay, but the key thing I want to tell you, the focus of this entire paragraph was on one thing, that is supplier who wanted to deliver in full quantities. Now this will be against the JIT principles. This will be against the JIT principles. For JIT, right quantity at the right time is needed. Okay. So this entire paragraph insisted that full load quantities will not be possible and blah, 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 blah. And the same thing was linked by the examiner. If I say in the question, was linked from this point that was mentioned here. Very quickly, I'm giving you the links here. Done. Next point. The next thing that was written here in the 3rd paragraph entirely focused on the quality aspect needed for JIT. because there were some quality issues that were mentioned in the scenario. So the answer mentioned that currently the quality problem is there, and using GIT, defect-free mindset should be there, defect-free. So this paragraph, listen please, this paragraph did emphasize a lot over the quality. The quality is important. It's the requirement should be well defined with this supplier. We need to communicate with the supplier. Quality standards are important. Quality audits are important, and these were the things that were mentioned in this by the examiner. Okay, done. And if you want a reference from where did the examiner linked all these things, so it's very simple and clear. You can see here the quality issue was mentioned here. That's it, done. 3 points, 3 paragraphs, but it's not that everybody will do the same thing. Okay. Yes, it is giving you a good idea how to link. As a reader of the past paper, you have to realize, okay, this is what it expected, but the quantum is not required. Linking is what you should learn more here rather than too much to write. Okay. Mind you, 13 marks. 13 marks requirement is this. Current production methods. Now, let's quickly jump towards the next requirement that has been mentioned here. Production side. A good heading made clarity that, okay, I have covered both the aspects in the requirement. Because they did mention purchasing, they did mention production, I've covered both the areas. Okay. In this paragraph, guys, in this paragraph, and one thing more, you might read these documents on your own. You're like, okay, I can understand. No. Today, definitely, it's not just about reading the documents. It's about using an experience of a person who's teaching since 17 years. And then let's come to a blend of these two together, that what needs to be done. Okay. So it's because I've gone through 80, 85, 90 past paper questions of APM. So I have that complete knowledge, experience that what examiner has done since 2007 till today. So I can give you a recent feedback that what is now expected from the examiner. Okay. Now, where I was, this paragraph. In this paragraph, the focus was that the criteria of efficiency is wrong or not appropriate for GIT, because the focus is on volume of output. GIT will not support this. Definitely the reward system is not okay. The focus is just on producing more and more and more. Efficiency is judged by producing more. Bonus is being given on the basis of the more you produce. Are you with me? So this all will not be acceptable, because in GIT, it's not about producing. It's about the demand from the customer. Lower quantity, less quantity needed as required. Okay. So this is what has been covered here, and a reference of that again I'm showing again and again, and tell you why I'm going back and repeating this exercise. What will you achieve from this? So this is the efficiency criteria and the bonus metrics that was mentioned here. Done. Next point is long production runs. Here, this long production run activity, will this be suited for the business? No. Now this will not be suited. Keeping in mind that the demand will be of different quantities, so your production run should be short. Okay. From GIT perspective, short production runs will be required. Plus, the answer is very detailed in mentioning, as an example, that the team should work, the people should work in a group of team members should work in a group in a group way, and short production runs should be used. People should have multiple skills and all, and the flexibility to work to perform different tasks at the same time, because production runs will not be that long and all, right? So short production runs are required. So this is all what's mentioned in this. Plus, it also mentioned about the factory layout should also change, because now you don't need such long production runs, right? All this was highlighted where it was in the scenario I just showed you. The last was in relation to the inspection done at the end of the process, and 5% rate considered acceptable from the production manager. So this paragraph emphasized that quality is important, and the inspections and quality tests should all be done throughout the process, not at the last where you just reject the product. So testing procedures all should be throughout the process. So this is all mentioned in this paragraph. Done. The reference of this is very clearly given here in the scenario. As you can see, that production is done, testing done in the final stage of production. And this is considered to be acceptable and blah, blah, blah. That's it. Done. Okay. After getting a quick idea in relation to, in relation to the official answer, I'll now jump towards the marking scheme. And I'm showing this marking scheme very openly. See, 13 marks you can grab maximum. And you guys even can mark your scripts now after watching this entire video. I'm very much sure. I'll make everybody a marker now. Easy number were available for a description of GIT. Okay. 1 mark per point. Now, this is one of the most confusing area. 1 mark per point. Okay. So, if someone will not write description of GIT, which you should, okay, then that person has to focus on 13 points, 13 valid points to grab 13 marks. Or if you write a good description, then 12 valid points. Now, if it says 1 mark per valid point, so 13 points I need to write. So there has been a lot of debate. 13 points should be present in bullet form, in paragraph form. What a valid point actually means. Okay. So all what I have observed looking at the marking scheme is what I'm just mentioning here. And 13 points I have to write here. So your planning should be 13 valid points you have to write to grab the marks. Now, those 13 points should cover purchasing, should cover production. I mean to say both should be covered. Okay, in these 13 points. There is no as such a rule that 5 for 1, 5 for 2, until and unless explicitly mentioned. It all depends how much changes you can mention, or how much need of the requirement you can fulfill under purchasing or production. Maybe 7 marks you can grab from the purchasing side, the rest from production. It could be vice versa, depending how valid points you have written. But if you grab 1 easy mark of what I said, description, you ensure 1 complete marks for you. If you missed out on that, doesn't matter. Still you can grab 13 marks. Still you can grab 13 marks by writing 13 valid points. Okay. But I'll explain you what this valid point means. Professional marks, 5. the professional skills needed for this part, what I am focusing here. This one. Balanced and reasoned assessment of the changes. Now, see, listen. Is this your object? Yes or no? Yes. This means object has a very strong connection with professional skill too, analysis and evaluation. So if you come up with a good assessment, a good analysis in relation to the changes required for both purchasing and production, if you have covered the good number of points for the changes required in the purchasing side, changes required in production side, then you will get technical marks, but you will get analysis evaluation marks as a gift as well. Easy pickings. This is also something comes under easy marks. Okay? Okay. Be with me, guys. Commercial acumen. Oh, the easiest way to grab commercial acumen is, you know what? Easiest way. I know practical points. I have also mentioned so many times relevant points, achievable things. The easiest way is use examples from scenario information. That's it. If you use maximum examples from the scenario. Now, what I'm saying here, sir, what do you mean by maximum example of the scenario? I expect people should pass after this video. They should pass APM, the passenger should go up. And you have to mention all this in the comment section, how helpful this will be for you. You have used one point from the scenario to support your point, to support your argument, to support your advice, to support your assessment, to support your evaluation, which means, in short, use the scenario and refer that as mentioned in scenario, as mentioned in the question regarding this. If you are using those, if you are connecting with the scenario, you get automatic marks under commercial acumen. The easiest way to grab commercial acumen marks is to do what? Use examples drawn from the scenario information to illustrate your points. Now, basic marks for analysis and evaluation means fulfill the need of the requirement. Object. According to verb and object, answer it, you get extra marks for analysis and evaluation. This is the minimum I am explaining here. Second, for commercial acumen, the maximum scenario you will link, you will use example of the scenario, you get marks under commercial acumen. And you want to become a marker, you want to mark your own scripts, understand things, and you can mark your own answer. Okay, done. Sir, what about skepticism? Here it says demonstrate effective challenge of the assumption of both production manager and CEO. And if you have seen that production manager did mention that 5% is acceptable or not, challenging that will give you skepticism area. But sir, are these three things to be covered in any case? No. If you lose skepticism marks, the best thing is, if you didn't understood, you didn't grab this mark, fine. You can grab 3 marks here. You grab 2 marks here and get 5. This means it is not a hard and fast rule that you will only get professional marks if you demonstrate all the professional skills. Understood? Yes, this is true. That solve entire requirement, complete the question to get professional marks. That's a separate message. But it is not compulsory that all professional skills you will be able to apply at the same time. If you applied one skill better, you can grab more marks there. Understood? Okay. After all this detailed discussion, it's now time to go towards the most magical document for today, and that is read the marker's mind. And now the marker mind will be very much clear to you as well. This is the same requirement, sorry, that I've showed you earlier. I will directly jump to script number 1 of one of the candidates. Okay. This is one of the scripts of one of the students. One script we'll understand and one will mark ourselves the other one. Okay. Right? Done? Deal? Right. And once you understand things, you can mark your own as well then. The first point, CORSEC may need to reduce its suppliers so as to better develop relationships and work with one who can be relied up to meet high quality material demands. Now, this point is, listen please, this point is mentioning about the relationships improvement. This point is mentioning about the impact JIT will require on supplier management. This point is giving the clarity that yes, we need to change relationships with the suppliers. Are you with me? And any student who mentions that there are 4 suppliers, we need to manage the relationship with the suppliers, because once we go towards JIT, so once we go towards JIT, we need to cut down our suppliers and just see, not in a very detail this point is written, but just mentioning that supplier management requires a change, relationship needs to be developed in a better way. Examiner will award you 1 mark for this point. 1 mark for this point. Okay. Now, sir, what point means here? What I have observed, it's very clear. Point means a sentence. Now, no bullets. I'm not talking about bullets. It's a sentence. You can see it's one sentence that you have written here, and this is a valid point. This is a unique point. I always use the word unique point. 1 valid mark for 1 unique point. Okay. So, is this fulfilling the need of the requirement? What was the object? Changes JIT will require on purchasing. So, yes, this is fulfilling the need of the requirement that we need to change supplier management. Okay. This is clearly giving the idea that, yeah, supplier management requires a change. 1 mark, done. This is 1 point. This is 1 sentence. This is 1 point. Okay, great. Be with me. Next, it should be considered whether remaining two. Why he has mentioned remaining 2? Because one had a quality issue and one was delivering in full quantity. So he skipped that. That student thought, okay, these 2 will not work with us, for example. So he said remaining 2. That's fine. Remaining 2 suppliers provide this need and the company should work closely with them to improve quality and reduce lead time. So 2 problems of the current company has been mentioned here. One problem of quality, one problem of the lead time. Using current information and mentioning that this is the current issue and this will be resolved by the changes, or you need to change in that area from GIT, will give you marks. So see here, I'm just clicking this 3 here, and once I'll click 3, 1 mark given recognizing the current supplier situation. So it gives a clear idea. When you use the current situation of the scenario, that is also part of the valid point, if it serves the need of the requirement. Okay? Done? And please have a look. Starting from it, ending at lead time. Is this a complete sentence? Yes or no? Yes, this is a valid point. With me, everyone? Okay. Next. Now the paragraph hasn't changed here. This is important as the material from supply needs to be of right amount, right quality, because if it isn't, this will lead to delays in meeting the customer's order. The second point is a continuation of the first point in such a way that the second point is highlighting that for customer, defined quantity and quality is needed now. This is a continuation of the previous point. The answer is yes. You are writing some additional thing about the first thing, but this second point is giving you another message. This is giving you a unique message. This is giving you another thing to understand, that is, from customer point of view, we need this. This also will be given as 1 mark. Understood? Point number 4. 1 mark awarded. Listen, for why this is important for GIT to work. Point number 4. Okay. Point number 5. The same paragraph. Next point. Supplier agreements will need to be detailed, probably include SLA and be reviewed regularly. Now, this was not mentioned in the official answer. This was not mentioned. SLA was not mentioned there. Yes, but still, because this point is fulfilling the need of the requirement. And what is that? Changes needed because of GIT. So a change now is what? Have agreements with the supplier. Have an SLA document with the supplier. And you are getting 1 mark for this point number 5. Now, what is your learning here? Please listen. You have to focus on this document. It's not about paragraphs. It's not about bullet points. It's about a unique point that you write. You will get 1 mark. Okay. Now, in addition to that, if another development you have mentioned or some other connecting point you have mentioned to further emphasize on some other message, you will also get mark for that other point, provided it fulfills the need of the requirement. It adds to the object. That's it. Are you with me? So this student, see the quantum of this answer, purchasing, compared to the official examiner answer for purchasing. Oh man. That's why I'm saying, don't just read past papers to confuse yourself. See, purchasing, this versus, oh, one Point number 1, point number 2, 3, 4, and 5. This student managed to secure 4 marks. 4 marks from these 2 short paragraphs. Why? Because every point he wrote either was a complete unique point or was in connection to the previous point, but it was providing us a new information and was fulfilling the need of the requirement. Yes or no? Understanding things. So this is how it becomes very clear that I have to answer about changes here. Whatever valid changes I'll mention, I'll get the marks. No matter my answer matches the examiner answer or not. Okay? Understood? Okay. A quick summary, please. Point 1, relationship was mentioned. Yes, new relationships are needed. This is fulfilling the object changes required. Point number 2, focus on quality and lead time. This is a current issue. This needs to be resolved using GIT. This is fulfilling the need of the requirement. Done. Point 3, now quantity and quality is needed in order to fulfill the customer's demand. This is what GIT is. Yes, this is something fulfilling the need of the requirement. Number 4, agreements will be required now. Proper agreements are required. Detailed ones with the supplier. Again, this is indicating changes needed in purchasing. 4 marks. Now, I have planned a way that I'll tell people how to draft the answer later on. But it gives the clarity that yes, one complete sentence giving one message, if fulfilling the need of the requirement, is known as a valid point. And you will observe throughout this that the way they will be considering this. Okay? Production. Company needs to consider flexibility with regard to lead times on production, as they will potentially need to speed up, prevent potential stock outages at customer E on highly popular items. Now, this point is fulfilling the need of the requirement. The answer is yes. Why? Because this point is mentioning that JIT requires what? Flexibility. See, what I have seen, examiner is picking the right words. If you are writing the right words that gives the message of the object, he gives you the marks. He is such a nice person. I've realized it. I don't know why we blame him. At least by looking at these documents. Okay. So, see, 1 mark for word what? Flexibility. It is indicating that now you have to be flexible using GIT. Understood? Okay. Next point. Small production runs will be needed because they were using large. Small production run. Now the word small production runs will often be required with a mix of dresses to meet sales demand. Mix of dresses means one item is not we'll prepare every time. Different demands will come. So we have to change the trend. You have to make new products, fashionable products in short runs. which change the current process at the company. See, has this sentence completed here? Yes or no? Completed? This is point number 7, 1 mark for small production runs. Everyone with me? Okay, done. Next point, this might. Now see, the next point is a connection of the previous one. See, this point, the next one is a connection of the previous one. This might reduce efficiency of the production. See, it is giving some other message. And the company may have to assess alternative measures. So as not to see adverse efficiency rating compared to budget, which means by using short production runs, what this will do? This will affect your efficiency, and now company needs to focus on something else, because now the efficiency will not be to produce more. So this additional point is giving you additional information. Number one, it's a unique point. Yes or no? Yes, it's a unique point in the sense that it is giving you some other information and it fulfills the need of the requirement. That yes, now GIT will result in change in terms of efficiency of the production. And because you have written this, you will get 1 mark. Read here. Development of previous point with a valid alternative. With me, everyone? Understood? Great. Next point. How many marks so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 marks done. Next point. A change to how staff bonuses were awarded will have to be made, as number of dresses per period will vary based on the company need. Come on. Do you understand now? Will we get marks for this point? Just for this sentence, mentioning that staff bonuses criteria now should be changed. For mentioning this, they are giving me 1 mark for the 1 mark for the impact on GIT on staff production. It's a new point. We covered staff perspective now. Okay. Furthermore, after full stop, just look here. A better measure may look at on time of production or quality of output. So we changed the performance measure now. We came with an alternative of the performance measure. This is giving me 1 more mark, because this is a development of previous point with an alternative, valid alternative. Are you understanding what I'm trying to explain here? Yes. So if you are adding a point to your previous point, but giving you another information, another aspect is covered, and it fulfills the need of the requirement, you get marks for that. I think in the previous part, by mistake, I just read this point number 10. I think I had to read point number 8 here. Okay. 8. Okay. That related to the efficiency of the production. So here they mentioned for the impact of change of small production runs on production process. Okay. In point number 8, they gave the marks that because we have mentioned that because of GIT, now the production process will change, short production runs will be there, and the impact of that will be on the production process. So that's why they gave marks for point number 8. I just mistakenly read 10 at that point. Anyways, next, the company currently identifies failures at the final stage. Guys, be with me. The company currently identifies failures. No, I did miss something here. Okay, yeah, previous one. Staff will need to be more flexible. Staff will need to be more flexible to work overtime. Come on, you decide. Staff will need to be more flexible to work overtime during periods of high demand and take off during low periods of downtime. Now, is this related to JIT? Is this a valid point related to JIT? Will this happen? The answer is yes. Yes. Again, this is an impact on the staff. This point is not mentioned in the official answer, but still you are getting marks because it's a valid point. See, you have to build confidence in yourself. I want you people to be more confident while writing the answers. Don't think I'm writing wrong. Write it. Have that confidence, have that clarity about the topic. First, you should be clear about the topic itself, and then should have the confidence to write there. So, this seems to be a valid point, man. Why? Because staff now needs to be more flexible. It's a fact. It's a valid change. You will get marks for that. 1 mark done. Let's move on to the next one. This could be a large culture shock. Guys, is this a new point connecting with the previous one? Yes. They are writing in form of a paragraph. Yes. Which is clearly showing that, yes, you should write in paragraphs, and any points that you connect with each other, you can write those in one paragraph. This is what I also recommend a lot. This could be a large culture shock to workers who appear to be used to stable working patterns and regular high bonuses in relation to maximum output. This is another unique point, I would say, even though it connects with the previous one, but it gives the clarity that this is something will have an impact on staff mindset. And this will give you 1 mark. See, read here. Development of previous point. It's an extension to the previous one, but you are getting marks. Last, the company needs to take a very serious approach to change if the needs of erect aren't met. They choose to move to a different supplier, or they decide to move production in-house. This could lead to corporate failure of the company. Why? You know why? Because C is totally dependent on E. Totally dependent on E. Okay? So because of this, 1 mark they have given you for a good summary of the current position. Good summary of the current position. So the key takeaways are what? Using current situation. And see, have they used the current situation well? Yes. This is the point they mentioned of the current situation. Quality issue they raised here. Lead time problem they raised here. Listen to me very carefully here. Bonus criteria they've used here. Short production, long product life cycle. Longer production cycles they have used here. So many things were used in relation to the scenario. They will get marks under the heading of commercial acumen. Technical marks are separate. Now bonus coming into play. How many marks for this part? Let's count it. Starting from 2. Starting from 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think it's more than 12. Yeah, 13 marks. Why am I counting it wrong? Yeah, 13 marks. 12, 13 marks. Yeah, 13 marks. 13 marks. 13 out of 13 technical marks. 13 out of 13. And this answer is 50% to the examiner answer. That is why I teach people. I do say, okay, come on, study more. You may reproduce 50% of that. Okay, done. Now the interesting part. I'm asking few questions. Reply me. Did this script in the first part was successful in using scenario and linking scenario and using example of scenario? What do you think? Is the answer yes or no? And was that done very frequently? Yes or no? Was that done very frequently? Yes. 2 marks for commercial acumen over 13. 2 marks for commercial acumen. 13 technical, 2 commercial acumen makes how much? 15. Okay. Another question. Now listen. What do you think? Did this answer covered the object? Then the verb was to assess. Okay. We had to analyze it in a detailed way. So did this answer analyzed the changes in a detailed way considering purchasing and production both? Yes or no? Yes. Examiner got out of control and gave 2 marks for analysis and evaluation. Both areas were addressed properly. And you know how it was ensured? By using 2 headings, purchasing and production. Recall the tips I always give students and see they are aligned today. Commercial acumen, 2 marks because this candidate used details in the scenario, read with me, to support points and noted practical concerns for the company. Practical concerns were there. Quality, long production cycle, quantity, final inspections. These are the concerns. So in this part, how much he managed to score? 17 out of 25 in one part. Can you imagine? You should have the confidence. Listen, my friends. The nutshell is write 13. There are the requirements of 13 marks. Write 13 points, but make sure those 13 are fulfilling the need of the requirement. And in the same way, use scenario as an example, so you get commercial acumen marks as well. Skepticism is not there. Student didn't manage to grab skepticism here. A person who didn't touch skepticism, didn't raise a question in relation to the assumption of the production manager, still that person got 17 from a 13-mark requirement. Getting more confidence. Will this make APM easy for you? Come on, you should reply in the comment section. I hope this should be a massive eye-opener and also confidence booster for you. First, part A done. Now for the same script, before moving to part B, we will do a similar exercise as to what we did before, so that we get a good idea before we move to the next requirement. A quick check to this Appendix 1. And it's a clear message that Appendix 1 has to be used. Number 2, in order to get the professional marks, it is very important that we do consider how this appendix has been designed. Like cost of conformance includes prevention cost, appraisal cost. You can see the percentage is given as revenue as well here. Okay. Then cost of non-conformance includes internal failure. Okay. And external failure. And also we can see the figures and the percentages. Now, see, analysis and evaluation. Now, the term analysis is what? You have to analyze the data given here. You have to drill down, find the facts using the data. So if you look at the data, it is obvious and clear. Anybody can understand that very less spent on conformance side and a huge cost incurred on non-conformance side, and in that too external failure cost is the highest one. A quick look at the breakup will give you the idea that cost of complaints is in good numbers. If you can just do a quick math, just an idea. Okay, I'm not getting into these details. 3% of cost related to cost of complaint. Product recalls 4%. Okay, so as a candidate, you have to keep this in your mind, and you have to use this to the maximum potential you can. Plus contribution foregone is a key issue. It clearly shows that Erect is buying from someone else as well. Someone else as well, not just company C. Okay. So this is a loss if you're totally dependent on Erect, right? So if you do not improve in these areas, you can struggle. Anyways, done. Now, quickly jumping on to the examiner answer before we go to the script and understand where the marks are available. Now, quickly, I'll brush up this thing in front of you. A proper coverage of the object, you can see here, is by the use of headings, cost of conformance and cost of non-conformance, and how this Maniya and how this idea came to the mind is by looking at Appendix 1. The way the report was drafted or given, you could have used that in your answer to cover the object. Okay. Let me remind you, the verb was to discuss and the object was changes, but totally had to focus on quality cost. And the report was totally given to you from quality cost perspective. So your object key is quality cost here. Okay. So the official answer started the answer by mentioning that the focus here is on quality control rather than quality assurance, which means non-conformance side is more focused compared to conformance side. Okay, and that's true. Also, it mentioned that they are doing this for the first time. It was mentioned the scenario that figures could be inaccurate and things like that. Fine. Then cost of conformance, they started with by mentioning that changes required. So changes now are needed, that the focus should be on more conformance side, like prevention costs, like more testing tested equipments are needed, more need to invest in good equipments. If you have good equipments, automatically your production will be a controlled production. You need to have a supervisor to check things, which means prevention and appraisal is what need to be focused more. If you do like this, if you bring a change in that cost structure, so your internal failure would automatically go down, because your internal failure currently relates to, if you can see here in the appendix, rework and scrap. So if your machines are good tested machines, so your rework would automatically go down, because the production will be a controlled production, rework will be less, scrap will be less. Okay. Plus, it mentioned that downtime is more. So if you increase your machine maintenance here, very less maintenance currently. If you spend more on maintenance, your downtime will come down. In short, the answer initially focused on mentioning that more spent on prevention and appraisal would automatically cut down internal failure. That's a fact. That's a fact. Less rework, good units will be produced. So that's a fact. Then the answer came towards non-conformance and totally focused on external failure cost, because it was major. So it mentioned that if you go with JIT now JIT is what? It's all about, it's all about zero defect, quality. So non-conformance for JIT is never possible, never an alignment. So it started with mentioning separate line items, like see, close to zero. It started with mentioning complaints, 3% of the cost is complaints. And this is dealing with the complaints. So if you have a good relationship with your customer, erect, have close working relationships, you can reduce on these complaints. So this is a change that JIT will want you to have a good communication with your customer as well, not just with your supplier. So this will go down. Plus, your product recalls and cost of goods return are 4% of the revenue. So again, focus on prevention, appraisal would reduce, call it this external failure, because things will be detected earlier. Your testing system will be good. Your inspections will be on time. You can grab problems initially before being transferred to the customer. So a change would be needed in terms of more good systems in place. Plus, the bonus system should be changed from quantity towards quality. The mindset of the staff should be focused towards quality. A cultural change is needed. A culture change is needed now. Zero defect policy is what we want. Okay. Then it mentioned about foregone contribution. This is key thing. Is dangerous for business like C, who is totally dependent on E. And E is buying from multiple suppliers like C. So this needs to be addressed because this can have a bad consequence of the business. So overall, it mentioned at the last that the balance of the cost must change now from non-conformance towards conformance, that is prevention and appraisal. And for that, you need to train your staff. Training is needed, better systems in place, more audits required, culture of zero defects needed. All these are focusing on changes needed because of GI. Done? Okay. Again, very much detailed answer. For 7 marks, too much written. You guys want to hear this from me, right? So I'm saying too much written for 7 marks. And a person can get confused by reading past papers. If person is like, I want to replicate this, you cannot. Okay, looking at the marking scheme. Okay, looking at the marking scheme. Looking at the marking scheme for this question, 1 mark per point. It's the examiner who is saying this, up to 7 marks, which means how many points to write? Come on. 7 points. 7 valid points. 7 valid points. I can say maybe 7 sentences, valid one, that fulfill the need of the requirement. These will be unique points, 7 unique points. And it could be said as that connecting points, you can even write to explain one unique point in a better way, but the connecting points should be unique in the sense that they should give some other message that should develop the previous point. Okay. Now, the professional marks are available here. See, appropriate use of data. Why data to be used? Because appendix is given for this purpose only. A person who will be stupid not to use data now, because it is given to you. So use of data to support, to support discussion on quality cost changes and draw relevant conclusions like conformance is needed now, non-conformance is not required, and things like that. Okay. So I hope this is clear. So analysis evaluation, again, listen. Analysis evaluation relates to what? See, again, I proved it. Object, verb, object. So clear. Fulfilling the verbs and the objects means you get additional marks for analysis and evaluation. So now the data is given, use the data, do some analysis to discuss the changes, you get marks under this heading. Okay. That's it. Done. Let's go back to the interesting thing, and that is the answer of the student. Guys, this is again very important. Let's begin. Just check the quantum of the answer. Just if you just count in terms of lines or paragraphs, just 2 paragraphs for 7 marks. And if I tell you this is the answer, you'll be like, sir, are you okay? Is this sufficient to write? You guys do ask me, sir, do you think is this sufficient for 7 marks? It's not about this. It's about quality of the answer. Okay. So see, TQM looks to reduce cost of non-conformance. Now, the word TQM has been used here. The technique is JIT. So I don't think word TQM should be here. I know TQM works with JIT, but still, which in the report is extremely high, which is 568,000, 12.62% of the revenue. This is an analysis, some part of an analysis done, just focusing on non-conformance cost. Yes, the candidate did pick from the scenario that non-conformance is high. Just because of this, he will get mark. So, point number 16. One mark for the change in cost using the data. So what he has mentioned here to get the mark is the company need to reduce the cost of non-conformance. Reduce. Now the word reduce is fulfilling the need of the requirement, and that is change needed in quality cost. So by mentioning that you need to reduce it, you need to reduce it, you are somehow fulfilling the need of the requirement, and that is what? This is the change you need in your quality cost, that you should reduce non-conformance. Understood? Done. Change the paragraph. The way to do this is to invest in conformance costs. Now, this is an additional point, particularly prevention, which is important for JIT, as it is too late to establish faults at the end of the production or by the customer, which means it is clearly showing, giving you a message. Now it's a further add-on to the previous point, and that is what? Yeah, but giving a different message, and that is go towards conformance. What is impressive here is what? That JIT now wants that external failure should be low, because if you go with the defected product to the customer, that is where it is external failure cost, or maybe internal failure at the end of the production process. Okay, so will this be given a mark? 1 mark awarded for the change in the cost linked to JIT. Okay, 2 marks done. Next, the company should focus on prevention, particularly. Now, another point for prevention, but let's see, the focus is towards what? See, prevention, that is common, but it's a unique thing, particularly around training. So the staff are using machinery properly and understand all parts of the production, and this will help you to reduce the defects. 1 mark for the development example from the previous point. Understood? Now, routine maintenance. Is it a separate point, routine maintenance? Yes or no? Yes, separate point. Routine maintenance, even though it comes under prevention, should be increased as it appears there is lot of downtime. This is the analysis. Downtime is, you can see the cost of machine downtime, which can't be afforded under JIT, which requires reduced lead time, and you are getting 1 mark. Now, a very key observation. How many marks for this part this person managed to secure? 1. No. Look at point 16. 1 for 16, 1 for 17, one for 18, one for 19. 4 marks out of 7. Now, it's a massive learning for you. Anything else? Nothing. 4 out of 7. Why? Because student left the question. He could have linked more things, but he didn't. He just wrote 4 valid points. He could have secured more marks by writing 5th valid point, 6th valid point, 7th valid point. And there were things available, like he could have linked with foregone contribution. He could have linked with product recalls, even though he did mention about the external failure somehow. So there were things that he could have written here. Maybe time management became the issue. Maybe he was short of time, and that is why he could have grabbed more marks, but didn't able to do it. Now, maybe according to this question, you were given with 45 minutes. Maybe you have already spent 45. Now, is it good to continue with the question or move on to the next one? I would say don't steal one question time. Move to the next one. Because you already have performed really well in this question. Okay? Okay, now let's judge the professional marks. Now, come on, I want you guys to understand. How will I get professional marks? First of all, analysis evaluation. I had to focus on verb, that is to discuss, and the object, that is changes to quality cost. And I had to take a proper, complete, balanced view on that by using the data. So data was there. Data was more elaborated one. It included contribution foregone. It included product recalls. It included cost of dealing with complaints. Yes? Did you think the student used the data completely or not? If he would have used the data completely, more points he would have written here. Did the student use complete data? What is your answer? Yes or no? The answer is no, because your answer had to be structured based on the appendix 1, had to be structured looking at the data. If he would have completed the data or used major figures from the data, automatically number of points would have increased. So this means if you fulfill your technical requirement, automatically you get professional marks. Because you didn't cover the data completely, you will not get complete professional marks under the heading of analysis and evaluation. So just 1 mark for analysis and evaluation. And see here what it says. The candidate made limited use of the data in relation to the proportion of non-conformance cost and downtime. And why the focus is on non-conformance? Because the major cost is of non-conformance. So it's a clear message to all of you. If you complete the requirement, if you use the entire data as needed for the requirement, you get technical marks. And once you complete technical marks, you get professional marks for under analysis and evaluation. Analysis and evaluation is very, 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 very much linked to verbs and objects. I think you are blessed, not doing my own, I don't want to show any greatness here. If someone is giving you such type of an understanding, you're blessed to have this. Because this clarity before the paper is like $10,000 blessing, I would say. This is APM. This is the reason why people fail. Done? Now, 1 mark for professional, 4 for technical, makes 5 out of 7. Let's look at the summary, and you will be shocked to see that how much generous the examiner is in relation to professional marks. Part A, 13 technical out of 13. Part B, 4 technical out of 7. 17 technical marks. Okay? Out of 20. Out of 20. 3 marks for analysis and evaluation. Why 3? 2 marks for the first part, because you covered all the changes there. Not all, but you know, a good attempt was made to cover the changes. In second part, limited attempt was made to cover the changes, so you got 1 mark for analysis evaluation. See, this is the professional mark breakup today in front of you. 2 marks for the first part, you did cover it in a better way. You fulfilled the verb and object in a better way. In second part, because you didn't fulfill verb and object in a better way, you got limited marks. 1. You scored 0 on skepticism. So should I cry? No need to cry. Not covering skepticism, still you got 5 out of 5. I'm not saying we should not focus on skepticism, but no, it's not an audit paper. It's an APM exam. For APM, it is a common sense. He should give more focus to analysis and evaluation. I'm not saying we ignore it. We need to have that questioning attitude. But still, a person who doesn't do still managed to take complete 5 EVS, performed well in the other part. And 2 marks for commercial acumen for the first part, because you did use a lot of examples from the scenario to support your points. So a summary is what? Verbs and objects, eat it. Analysis, evaluation, lot of chances that you will grab more marks. Bonus is there. It's a secret, hidden secret. Yeah, it's a hidden secret. It's a hidden secret that you grab the requirements properly to get analysis evaluation. Number 2, other hidden secret is what? Use examples of the scenario to support your answers, to support your valid points. The hidden secret is commercial acumen will be in your hand. Okay. 22 out of 25. MashaAllah. Awesome. If I ask you to compare and rate with the official answer, what do you think? Is this answer 50% of the official answer? I would say maybe 50%, but not more than that. Not more than that. Yes? So have that confidence, my friends. This person who is sitting in front of you wants you to pass, wants you to be successful. Have that courage. Just fulfill the need of the requirement the best you can there, and you will pass. Not even 50% of the past paper official answer. So this myth should be removed from your minds. I'll not say people not to read past papers, but I will say don't confuse by reading past papers. Don't confuse yourself. Okay, now it's time to mark another script. Guys, let's mark another script. And this is a rehearsal how you will mark your scripts as well. I want you to be the examiners, the markers, and let's see I'm successful or not. Ready, everyone? Say yes or no. Okay. We'll see one by one and let's see what happens. Oh, what is this? Just look at the quantum of the answer. Part A. Just look at part A. Now, this could be because of time management issue. Even though this is question number, in original exam, this was question number 3. Yes, I remember. This was question number 3, and this is I think March 20 exam question. I have seen in when I check the mocks, I've seen this a lot of time. Question 3 is worst done by the student because they come to question 3 tired and confused, and they say, come on, just wrap up and go home. And they write less because they have less time to write. So that's why I said don't steal the time of another new question by spending more on the previous question. No stealing. Leave it and move on. That is a separate story. The other question is something you don't know what to write. That is a separate story. Then I would want to focus on your strength. Let's start. Let's start. As an examiner, one thing I've observed here is part A is not distributed as it should have been between the headings of purchasing and production. Okay? So I have to segregate myself there. What relates to purchasing and what relates to production, which is not a good sign as an examiner. Chorus must choose suppliers who are reliable and produce on demand. Okay, seems okay. So maybe chorus should just choose one supplier to work closely with. Is it a valid point? Yes. This is a valid point. Is this indicating that a change is needed because of JIT? Yes. Yes. Should we give marks to this person? 1 mark. Impact on JIT purchasing. 1 mark. Yeah. Now this relates to purchasing, okay? Heading is not given, but this is purchasing. The supplier who dispatches in full load quantities using the scenario, commercial acumen may be needed to be disregarded as chorus does not want to have high inventory of dresses as it may become obsolete. Yes, a valid point. Come on. Write in the comment section. Should we give marks? Yes. How much? 1. 1 mark for this sentence I'm giving. This is a valid point. Okay. Quality should be the agenda. Change should be the agenda. As priority for chorus, as erect is only customer. Yeah. Therefore has no time to produce faulty products. Is this indicating a change? Yes or no? Yes. We need to focus on quality now. But one confusion is there. Does it relate to purchasing or production? Quality for purchasing, quality for production. This should be more clear, but it is not. Let's see this kind person, what he says. 1 mark could be in relation to purchasing, production, but I'm generous enough to give you 1 mark. I don't know how people don't pass APM. It requires extraordinary talent not to pass. Extraordinary talent. some special skills are needed, and which students do have in lot good numbers. Next, JIT offers short production runs. Right now, they are using long production runs where employees can spot mistakes instantly and correct them to minimize waste. Is this a valid change in relation to JIT? What do you think? Yes, guys, if you think, just mention 1 mark should be given for this point or not. If yes, let's check it. 1 mark. Production. Good. Next. Chorisk should perhaps market its own product. Huh? Is this a valid point for the change? Is this a valid point for the change? Should market its own product. Is this fulfilling the need of the requirement? What is the need of the requirement? Changes. Now this is interesting. Heartbeat more going up. Should the marks be given for this or not? Wow, no marks. Now we understood the examiner's mind. If you write out of the box, if you write that is not according to the need of the requirement, you won't get marks. Understood? So how many marks so far? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 out of 13. Why you didn't score marks? Because you didn't have time to write it, or you don't know what to write. You could have written a lot, but maybe due to lack of time, maybe you didn't have the idea what to write, you were not able to link. Listen. Analysis, evaluation, professional marks. Do you think he fulfilled verb and object completely? Do you think he came up with a reasoned, balanced assessment? Did he cover all the points? Yes or no? No, which means analysis, evaluation side is massively weak. Maybe 1 mark, I don't know. Next, skepticism found? No, 0. Commercial acumen. Was he able to link very much from the scenario? Did he took scenario-based points? He did somewhere, but not completely, because the answer is not complete, which means if you don't write completely, if you don't complete the paper, examiner cannot judge professional marks. Understood? Examiner cannot give you bonus marks if you don't write it. To get bonus marks, to get professional marks, write the answer, complete the answer. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Point number 1. Let's see the bonus area. See, my friends, still this generous person did what? 1 mark for analysis evaluation. Read here. The candidate recognizes some changes are required, but produces a very limited response and doesn't really develop the points for full assessment. Analysis evaluation is a separate thing. Commercial acumen is a separate thing. For commercial acumen, see, the candidate uses limited details in the scenario to support their points. Support is the word. You didn't fulfill the objects, marks for analysis evaluation will be limited for you. You didn't link with the scenario much, commercial acumen marks will be limited for you. Which means if you fulfill the object completely, you will get analysis evaluation marks. If you fulfilled the requirements and use the scenario to maximum advantage, you will get commercial acumen. These are bonuses for you. Total Still, I would say it's good. Still, you got 2 bonus marks, man. So 4 for technical, 2 for professional, 6 out of 13 failed in this part. Okay, next one. And the last one. Prevention cost should be invested in to prevent problems. Okay? To prevent problems. Down the line, like cost of non-conformance. Yeah. Is it a valid change of cost? Yeah. You should focus on prevention more and reduce non-conformance. Yes, valid point. 1 mark? 1 mark. Okay. Corex should reduce external cost. External cost. And reduce product recalls. Now, this is from the data. Would in turn reduce handling complaints. Okay. Let's have a look. 1 mark for 8th point. Recognizing that conformance should be focused. 1 mark for linking the change in the cost. Khalas. Go home. 2 out of 7 technical. Because of such a limited answer, will I able to conclude that this candidate have answered verb and objects completely? Have answered verb and object completely? The answer is no. If no, this means analysis evaluation 0. 0. Now you will realize why I have covered this session in such a orderly manner. Started with a question requirement, reading the scenario, official answer, and now coming to the scripts. We charge for this planning. Okay. So see, how much marks? Part A 4 technical, part B 2 technical, part A analysis evaluation 1 mark, part A commercial acumen 1 mark. Okay, 8 out of 25 failed. Okay, certain suggestions. How could this answer have been improved? Let's read it. Okay, let's read it. Scenario clearly identified 2 areas of focus. These areas should have been used as headings in the solution. This is what I say. Yes? To give answer structure and focus candidate thought process on the implication of GIT. I always say, if you use your key headings, objects as key headings, automatically you will be deviated to the right direction. Number 2, a more detail needed to be provided for each area, including read developing points. Now, what are developing points? Those that connect with the previous point. Those that connect with the previous point, that develop on the previous point. That gives you a different message, but it's a development of the previous point. It's a unique point, I would say, in the sense that it gives you a new message, but it builds onto the previous one. The requirement was worth 13 marks, and so a more detailed response required. This would have helped score more technical marks and more professional marks, especially in analysis and evaluation, for giving a more thorough assessment of the introduction of JIT and commercial acumen by recognizing the practical and commercial issues facing forest. Now, why I say use scenario as an example to link the point means, if you use scenario, which means you are considering co-risk, this means you are automatically considering the issues co-risk is facing. When we say use scenario to support your point, means you are considering core situation more. Automatically you are getting commercial acumen marks. Part B was light in both volume and application, which meant scored limited technical and 0 professional marks. The requirement clearly asked how quality costs would change in relation to reality and gave a quality report. To improve the answer, the technical points needed to be developed and linked to GIT with data from quality report. You simply had to use the quality report for this part. If this had been done, it would have scored more technical marks, demonstrated the ability to use the data to support points made, for which you would have awarded analysis and evaluation. A simple message: complete technical marks, you get professional marks. Understood? So I hope this will be a game changer for you. Do give your feedbacks, and I want at least 10,000 likes on this video. You should pass this to all your friends so that they should know APM is not difficult. Why APM? APM is a mystery. Let's break this myth now and just focus on the tips that I've shared with you people. So what all we have learned from this document is verb and objects are very important. Number one, fulfilling the need of the requirement will give you marks for analysis and evaluation. Number two, 1 mark you are getting here for 1 valid point. And you have seen what valid point means here. It's very clearly mentioned here what valid point is. Valid point is a unique point that addresses the requirement. This valid point, listen, will be further backed by a developing point. Sometimes you need a developing point, sometimes you might not need a developing point. Sometimes that valid point is enough to explain the answer. Sometimes you need a developing point further to that previous point, and that developing point is also a valid point for the marking purpose. It is considered as a unique point as it is developing something additional to the previous point, coming up with another unique thing. Okay? Then the more you connect with the scenario, you use scenario examples to support your points, which means you are considering the company situation more, and you get marks for commercial acumen. There can be more marks for for analysis evaluation. You can even grab complete professional marks, even if you don't complete all the professional skills. Easy marks are available in form of definitions, and I would say in form of professional marks. So to grab professional marks, fulfill the need of the requirement completely and enjoy free bonus professional marks. And the last is, have the courage to write. Don't think this will be wrong. Just ask yourself, is it adding value to the object? Is it adding value to the object? Is it according to the client's need or not? That's it. If you think from any angle that this point is fulfilling the need of the requirement, and you justify that angle, it's correct. Even if it matches with the examiner or if it doesn't match with the examiner. 13 marks, 13 valid points. 7 marks, 7 valid points. Okay? And by observing here, it's very clear that valid point here seems to be a sentence. Okay, so one complete sentence you wrote with full message is a valid. So this is what we have observed from this, and these are important learnings. I hope this will help you, and best of luck for the year paper. And also watch my next Read the Markers Mind video for further clarity and further understanding. Thank you very much. And give your feedback in the comment section. I hope you will share all this with your friends. Thank you so much. Best of luck.